I love iced coffee. If you'd like to buy me one, just go to buymeacoffee.com/fortherecordyourhonor.
Energy Supercross Saturday.
I'll have to call them back.
Please consider making a donation or leave a tip for the channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, and subscribe is free.
Who is it, girl? Tell Mama. Damn.
Hello, package 4. For the record, Your Honor.
Main Event Monday, Episode 2. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We have many things to discuss and review, especially about Davies and Deegan. Don't worry, we will get to all that. Just wait. First off, if you are new here, welcome. We go over all the details of all the races, riders, and main events. Make sure you hit that like button, and if you love Supercross just as much as I do, definitely subscribe and stay up to date. Round 16 was packed with triples, shocking actions, cheers, boos, and extreme urges, hungry to win. Empower Field Stadium, home of Denver Broncos, was filled with eager fans. The 250 Heat 1 had such names like Deegan, Julian, Shimoda, and Marchbanks. Just when Deegan seemed like he was going to take the lead, Garrett Marchbanks broke through, taking it from the Yamaha Star Racer. Short-lived because Marchbanks actually went down as Deegan continued to gain distance with a 3-second gap with 3 minutes left in the race. Joe Shimoda had me worried for a bit when he was below the advancing line, but he picked up speed and moved up some positions. But boy, was he cutting it close. In the end, Haiden Deegan took the win. 250 Heat 2. In Heat 2 of West Coast 250s, Davies had the lead. Julian Beaumier went down, resulting from his front end slipping from out under him. Jordan Smith followed with a crash, ending up in 14th place, 20 seconds behind the lead with 3 minutes left. At 2 to go, Smith went off the track at the whoops. He was very lucky enough to make the cut to make the main. Juju took the win in Heat 2. 450 Heat 1. With the crowd yelling and revs all up, the Cowboy AP almost had a lead, but Mookie slid up in the inside and took P1. Malcolm Stewart held on. Dean Wilson was doing well in 6th place, and AP replaced Oldenburg, marking P2. On the final lap, Mookie had a 5-second lead and took the win. This marked his 3rd heat win. When on the mic, Malcolm made mention that his documentary on him, called 27, will be out. 450 Heat 2. Now for Heat 2 of the big boys, right before the race even started, all eyes were on at the same spot of the gate. This was because Chase and Cooper right next to each other on the starting lineup. Right off the rip, Joey Savacci and Christian Craig got tangled up in a crash. The crowd started to go wild, cheering loud as we would have a few moments of a battle between Chase and Webb up front. Kyle Chiz made top 5. Christian Craig made his way through to the main with 8th place. HVAC Rod Bell was 18th and going to the LCQ with Joey Savacci. Chase Saxton found a way to hang on and won 450 Heat 2. Joey Savacci won the LCQ, making sure he was to take his seat back at the main event gate. Before we jump to the main events, I want to make mention real quick of the KTM juniors who raced that night but was not aired, which really gets me mad. They are having their big race with the big boys the same night. These juniors look up to these guys. These are their idols. I'm sure they would be so pumped to have that aired on TV, sharing that grand moment to look back on. And if they don't have their whole family there, they would appreciate being able to have them watch it at least. It should have been at least talked about on the broadcast, and it wasn't. Instead, it was mostly focused about the program they're in and advertising it. I mean, come on, imagine being in their shoes. Wouldn't you love to have, the greats or a legend or, I guess, Lee Diffie call your race just like they do for the big guys? I'm pretty sure they would. The youngins placed in the following order: Caesar Legut, Laundry Abercrombie, Jagger Anderson, and River Caputo. Great job, you guys. Keep going. All right, the moment you guys have been waiting for, the top dogs. 250 main event. Cole Davies takes the lead. Mosman was seen riding 100 Davies rear fender. Deegan off to a rocky start as his riding at the turns were a little loose. Shock was pushing hard in 5th behind Joe Shimoda, but Juju blasted through, stealing 37 Shock's spot to chase Joe Shimoda's tail. He eventually made the pass and set his eyes forward on the target, Haiden Deegan, as he became directly behind him. Deegan sped up, made the pass on Mosman, now P2, landing him behind younger teammate Davies. 100 had a 2-second lead ahead of 38. Meanwhile, Juju battles Mosman for 3rd, the last podium position. Deegan began to gain speed and Davies dropped in power, letting the gap start to close in between the two. This made the distance simply just 1.3. Davies heard the crowd, did a head check, and noticed Deegan was catching up. On a turn, Cole took the upper outside. Deegan upped on him, side by side, and we witnessed the bikes tap and Davies goes off into a slight ditch. This puts Cole down in 5th place with 2 laps to go. Haiden, with a 13-second lead at this point of the pack, takes the win, and off to the side of the track, we see Cole Davies throw his goggles down on the ground, instantly visibly upset. As the whole Yamaha Star Racing crew pretty much gathered around Deegan, one man dressed in crew gear, said to possibly be his father, sat with him and consoled him for a bit. Off air, during the commercial break, it was reported and later seen many 450 riders who were prepping to line up for their main event, like in that moment, one by one, took turns showing love and support for the 17-year-old, and most likely were sharing quick, uplifting words or advice. It was really nice to see that type of kindness and sportsmanship. Some of them were AP Nichols, Justin Cooper, Savacci, and Dylan Ferrandis. Meanwhile, back over by the stage, Deegan was being heavily booed by the audience in the stadium. There was some confusion as they announced it was under review with the AMA. Eventually, it was announced that Haiden Deegan was officially the champion of Supercross 2025, West Coast. Back at the Deegan household, brother and mother were watching on TV, but also in shock. In an Instagram video, you see the mom, Mama Deegs, yell, "No, this wasn't supposed to happen till Salt Lake. He won and we're not there." Cole Davies was interviewed, and it was clear that Will was nervous, but in my opinion, pressured that hit and pass. Cole stayed very classy and threw no shade or hate at his teammate, never throwing Haiden under the bus. He actually blamed himself, saying it was his fault, putting himself in that position, giving room for the opportunity for his friend to steal. When Deegan was on the mic, he complimented and congratulated Cole for a good race and battle. Most of the crowd was not having it. Deegan felt the heat wave of negative attention, and the talking began, where he went on to say how he was going to do whatever he needed to do to get this win. Clearly, trust has been broken. Now Davies knows at the end of the day, you're competitors, both going for the same win. And when push comes to shove, Deegan is not your friend. He is not going to ever gift or hand over a win to you. Davies was truly heartbroken and completely devastated at this moment. Seeing him cry reminded me of Jet Lawrence's premiere debut season in the 250s. He had a moment upset on camera just like that, and he never looked back since. And look what transpired for him seasons after. If you ask me, next year's Supercross season, Cole Davies, he will beast mode through it and forget all about this, as he will have much more successes to think about rather than simple mistakes and losses in the very beginning. Hang in there, bud. Now tell me, did you guys think Deegs did him dirty? Was it fair game since it was for the championship? Was he already doomed when he took the outside with barely any distance from Hayden's chosen rut in line? Did Cole make the same error that happened in practice qualifying? Should he have known better? Tell me in the comments down below. And moving on to 450 main event. In the 450 group, someone you may have noticed missing on the line was 94 of Ken Roczen. Even though he has made efforts to stay in while injured and did well, he did some MX last week and busted his ankle and said, okay, that's it, fuck it. Why bother? Well, Kenny, I'll tell you why bother. You still could have done good in points for at least the factory team and Suzuki. But that's, I guess, besides the point. Kenny decided he will be out for the last 2 rounds and remain out for outdoors till healed and doing better. But some of the comments he made, we're going to talk about it in the podcast. I'm not too thrilled about it. It kind of seemed like he was throwing some shade at the riders that are currently still on track. The race had a lead from Cooper Webb, Saxton, Mookie, Father Shane, AP, Big Boy Benny, Jake Coop, and Ferrandis. Cooper and Chase battled for first, but ultimately Chase grabs it, holding a 3-second lead ahead. Meanwhile, AP is seen chasing Shane McElrath. At 12 minutes left in the race, AP and Shane battled it up. Webb was now 6 seconds behind the leader, Chase. Dean Wilson, comfy in his typical P10, solid, with Christian Craig and Joey Savacci behind in 11th and 12th place. Around 8 minutes left of the race, Benny Bloss dropped positions, landing in 13th place. For a bit, the position stayed pretty firm and the same. At 5 minutes left, Webby was 9 seconds behind Chase. Battling it out, Chase overcame again, powered through with slight aggression, taking the lead. At 2 minutes and 1 lap, first and second place had a 10-second gap. Trying to sneak a past, Jake Coop was trying everything he could while he was behind Mookie, while Malcolm himself was busy charging, aiming for the same distance to be created. Jay Coop did the same thing, though, getting his pass, climbing to third. Chase took the win, Webb in second, and Jay Coop finished the podium in third. While on stage live on the microphone, Jay Coop spoke more than he usually does, but looked exhausted, turning pale, covered in sweat, but managed to still smile. Cooper Webb was seen on the sidetrack, drinking water and on and off rusting his head. He looked really sick and unwell. Turns out, during the post-press conference, Webb explained how he was under the weather, battling Sexton and an illness. It was very obvious he was sick. In the discussions, someone asked Chase about that takeover pass. He acknowledged that even under his own circumstances and standards, he felt it was aggressive, which it really wasn't that bad. Kinda shading the 250 Deegan-Davies argument a little. I respect this about Sexton. Overall, he is a robotic, clean rider for the most part, and doesn't tend to cause destruction on the track, unless it's just for himself. What I mean is, you never really see Chase intentionally go after someone to hurt or, I guess, fuck him over. So that is something I will say about him, and I give him credit. Well, all the details you need to know about last weekend's Supercross Saturday. Stay tuned for the next episode with the Nitty Gritty Garage on Let's Get Gritty podcast for a breakdown and discussion regarding also the Deegan and Davies incident. See you there. Thanks for tuning in to Main Event Monday. I'm Linda, and that's for the record, Your Honor.